Hello, and welcome back, everyone, to Chasing Masculinity, the podcast where we explore what it truly means to live as men with purpose, integrity, and a strong foundation in faith. I'm your host, Colton Wutzke, and today we're diving into Rule 9 of the 24 Rules of Masculinity. Potential will not manifest without any demand. To kick things off, I want you to picture something. A car sitting on a hill. It's full of fuel, the engine is powerful, and the brakes are off. But it's not moving. It's not because it lacks power or capability, it's because nothing is pushing it forward. That's potential. Like that car, we all have untapped power within us, but until we apply force, until we create demand, our potential just sits there, waiting, unused, and unrealized. Let me share a quick story to illustrate this. A few years ago, I was working a job that on paper seemed fine. It was stable, it paid the bills, and I was comfortable. But deep down, I knew that I wasn't tapping into my full potential. I had this nagging feeling that I was capable of more, but I didn't know how to get there. That's when I realized something. Nothing about my life was demanding more from me. I was in a comfort zone, and that zone is where potential goes to die. When I finally decided to step out of that comfort zone, to take on challenges that scared me, to demand more from myself, that's when everything started to change. I'm not saying it was easy, it definitely wasn't, but by placing demands on my potential, I unlocked opportunities and abilities I didn't even know I had. And that's what today's episode is all about. Potential isn't just a buzzword or an abstract concept. It's real, and it's powerful. But it's also multi-layered. Potential exists at every level. Society, community, and most importantly, within us as individuals. A nation can achieve great progress or fall into chaos based on how it utilizes its potential. A community can flourish or crumble, depending on the effort its people put into it. And as individuals, we face the same choice. Do we let our potential remain dormant, or do we demand more from ourselves and unleash what's possible? That brings us to Rule 9. Potential will not manifest without any demand. This principle is the foundation to personal growth and, frankly, to true masculinity. If you want to grow as a man, if you want to live a life of purpose and fulfillment, you have to stop waiting for potential to magically turn into success. You have to create the conditions that demand more from you, even when it's uncomfortable. So in today's episode, we're going to explore what it means to recognize, demand, and unleash potential. We'll talk about how potential is both a promise and a responsibility, how to navigate the risks and rewards of chasing it, and how to take actionable steps to create the life you're truly capable of living. Stick with me, because by the end of this episode, you'll have a better understanding of how to tap into your potential and demand more from yourself in every area of your life. Let's get into it. All right, let's dive into our first concept for today, the dual nature of potential. This is a concept that's so important to understand because it highlights why potential is both exciting and, let's be honest, a little intimidating. Potential is inherently dual. On one hand, it holds the promise of incredible success, those moments when everything aligns and you achieve something remarkable. But on the other hand, potential also carries the risk of failure, falling short, or not living up to expectations. That duality is what makes potential such a powerful force, but also one that can paralyze us if we're not careful. Let's take an example. An entrepreneur starting a new business. Think about the immense potential here. There's an opportunity to create something innovative, to build a legacy, and to achieve financial freedom. But there is also significant risk, financial loss, competition, setbacks, and the pressure of leading a team. For that entrepreneur, potential is both the fuel for their ambition and the challenge that they must overcome. Or consider an athlete training for a championship. The potential for victory is there, the chance to be the best, to break records, to inspire others. But so are the risks, injury, failure, and the mental strain of intense competition. This duality of potential means that every step forward carries both promise and peril. The Bible gives us a powerful illustration of this in the parable of the talents from Matthew 25. You might remember this story. A master gives 3 servants different amounts of money, talents, to steward while he's away. 2 of the servants invest their talents and see a return, but the 3rd servant, out of fear, buries his talent in the ground. When the master returns, he praises the first 2 servants for their efforts and rewards them. But the 3rd servant, he's rebuked, not because he lost the talent, but because he didn't even try to use it. This parable is a clear message about potential. It's not enough to simply have it, you have to use it. And using it means taking risks, facing challenges, and sometimes stepping into the unknown. God doesn't call us to play it safe. He calls us to trust Him, step out in faith, and to actively work with the gifts and opportunities He has given us. So where in your life do you see potential right now? Maybe it's in your career, a relationship, or even a personal goal that you've been putting off. Now, be honest, what's holding you back from taking action? Is it fear of failure? Is it not knowing where to start? Take a moment to think about this. Write it down if you need to. What's one area in your life where you know you have potential, but you haven't taken that first step? The dual nature of potential, the promise of success and the risk of failure, isn't going anywhere. But how you respond to it will determine whether your potential stays dormant or becomes something extraordinary. Now let's bring this closer to home and talk about recognizing your individual potential. Your potential is as unique as you are. It's shaped by your upbringing, your experiences, your God-given traits, and even the challenges you've faced. No one else has lived your life or walked your exact path. That means the potential you carry is completely one of a kind. Let me give you another example. 2 people might both want to be leaders, but their potential will look very different. One might have grown up in a family that encouraged debate and critical thinking, giving them the tools to communicate effectively and lead discussions. The other might have faced adversity early on, teaching them resilience and how to inspire others through perseverance. Both have leadership potential, but it's shaped by their unique journeys. Now, recognizing your potential starts with understanding what makes you unique. And one of the best ways to do that is through self-reflection, taking time to look inward, honestly and without judgment, helps you see your strengths and weaknesses clearly. Journaling is a great tool for this. Write about your experiences, your challenges, and your accomplishments. What have you done in the past that you're proud of? What are the moments where you felt most capable, most alive? Those are often clues to where your potential lies. Another powerful tool is feedback. Ask people you trust, mentors, friends, colleagues, to share their perspective on your strengths and areas for growth. Sometimes others can see things that we miss. Their insights can help us refine our understanding of potential. But recognizing potential isn't just about looking inward, it's also about setting clear, realistic goals that align with your strengths. When you set specific goals, you give your potential a direction. Start small, focus on one area where you know you can grow. Then break that goal into manageable steps and track your progress. For example, if you're good at public speaking but haven't fully tapped into that skill, set a goal to lead a presentation at work or join a local Toastmasters group. Or maybe you're great at connecting with people. Consider mentoring someone or volunteering in your community. Identify one unique strength that you have, something that makes you stand out. Then think about how you can deploy and apply that strength in your personal or professional life. Maybe it's a skill you've been neglecting, a talent you haven't explored, or even a quality like patience or empathy that could make a big impact in your relationships. Take a moment to write it down. Don't just think about it. Put it on paper or in your phone. Then make a plan. What's one small step you can take this week to start developing that strength? When you start recognizing your unique potential and actively working to develop it, you're not just chasing success, you're stepping into the man God created you to be. And that's a kind of growth that leads to real fulfillment. We've talked about recognizing your unique potential, but here's the thing, recognizing it is just the first step. Potential doesn't manifest on its own. It requires effort, grit, and resilience to bring it to life. Think about it like this. You might have a car with a tank full of gas, but if you never press the accelerator, you're not going to go anywhere. Tapping into your potential is the same. You need to step on the gas pedal, create demand, and then move forward, even if the road ahead looks tough. Let me share a story you've probably heard before, Thomas Edison and his relentless pursuit of the light bulb. Edison conducted thousands of experiments before he finally succeeded. When asked about his failures, he famously said, "I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's the kind of grit and resilience we're talking about. Edison's potential was undeniable, but it wasn't enough on its own. He had to demand results from himself, face countless setbacks, and keep pushing forward until he achieved his goal. So, how do we do that? How do we demand our own potential? It starts with breaking the process into some actionable steps. 1. Set challenging but achievable goals. Start by setting goals that push your limits but are still within your reach. These goals should excite and challenge you. For example, if you're looking to grow in your career, aim for a project or position that stretches your current skills. 2 is break goals into actionable steps. Big goals can feel overwhelming, so break them down into smaller, actionable steps. This makes the process feel more manageable and helps you stay motivated by having those small milestones you can reach. Let's say you want to run a marathon. Start with the goal of running 3 miles, then gradually increase your distance over time. 3 is to seek regular feedback. Feedback is like your compass. Regularly check in with mentors, peers, or trusted friends to get their insights. They can point out blind spots, help you adjust your strategy, and keep you accountable. 4 is to embrace challenges. Don't shy away from the tasks that push you outside of your comfort zone. That's where the growth happens. Challenges teach you resilience and prepare you for even greater responsibilities. Whether it's taking on a tough project at work or learning a new skill, embrace the discomfort. It's a sign that you're growing. 5 is to maintain discipline despite setbacks. The truth is, setbacks are inevitable. You're going to face roadblocks and failures along the way. But discipline is what keeps you moving forward. Stay committed to your plan, even when the progress feels slow. Trust that consistent effort will yield results. Maybe you just have to pivot slightly to realign your focus to something that better suits your goal. Identify one area in your life where you can step on the gas pedal and push yourself beyond your comfort zone. Is it your career, your relationship, your physical health? Take a moment to think about what that area might be. Then ask yourself, what's one specific action I can take this week to create demand for my potential? Maybe it's volunteering for a leadership role at work, starting that online course you've been putting off, or having a tough but necessary conversation with someone in your life. Write it down, commit to it, and don't just think about it. Take that first step today. When you start demanding more from yourself, you'll be amazed at what you're capable of. Your potential is limitless, but it's up to you to activate it. We've talked about recognizing your potential and the importance of demanding it from yourself, but there's another piece to this puzzle: magnifying your potential. You see, when you actively create demand, you don't just activate your potential, you actually amplify it. The more you challenge yourself, the stronger, the more capable, and more resilient you become. Here's what I mean. Think of a muscle. When you put it under stress through exercise, it doesn't just maintain its current strength, it grows. Your potential works the same way. By creating demand and embracing challenges, you stretch beyond your limits and discover abilities you didn't even know you had. Think about someone like Elon Musk. Love him or hate him, you can't deny his impact. Musk consistently set audacious goals, whether it's revolutionizing the auto industry with Tesla, pushing the boundaries of space exploration with SpaceX, or rethinking energy solutions. He doesn't shy away from challenges. He runs towards them. Sure, he's faced countless setbacks, failed launches, financial struggles, public criticism, but he views those failures as stepping stones, not roadblocks. And that brings me to an important point: the role of failure. Failure is inevitable. If you're pushing yourself to grow, you will stumble. But failure isn't the end of the road, it's a part of the process. Every setback is a chance to learn, adjust, and come back stronger. Think of Thomas Edison's quote, "I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's the mindset you need. So let's shift our perspective. Instead of fearing failure, let's embrace it as a sign that we're challenging ourselves. Let's normalize it as a necessary part of growth. Now let's talk about some practical ways to magnify your potential through demand. First, surround yourself with high-achieving, inspiring people. Jim Rohn once famously said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." If you want to amplify your potential, spend time with people who inspire you, people who push you to aim higher, think bigger, and do better. These could be mentors, colleagues, or friends who challenge you to grow and hold you accountable to your goals. Second is to set ambitious goals that stretch your limits. Don't just aim for what's comfortable, set goals that make you a little nervous. If you're too comfortable, you're not growing. For example, if you're an entrepreneur, instead of aiming to grow your business by 10%, aim for 50%. The bigger the goal, the more you stretch yourself to achieve it. The third is to cultivate a growth mindset. This one is huge. A growth mindset is all about seeing failure not as a reflection of your worth, but as a stepping stone to success. When something doesn't work out, don't beat yourself up. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this, and how can I do it better next time? Remember, every step you take to create demand for your potential amplifies your growth. So far, we've explored how to recognize demand and now magnify your potential. Now let's talk about unleashing it. This is the part where the theory meets action, where you stop dreaming about your potential and start living it. Unlocking potential doesn't just happen, it requires intentional effort and strategic planning. You need to create opportunities to grow by putting yourself in situations that stretch you. Let's break this down into some more actionable strategies. The first is to take on new responsibilities. Sometimes the best ways to grow is to step up and take on challenges that are outside your comfort zone. For example, if you're at work, volunteer for a project that stretches your skills. Maybe it's leading a team, managing a budget, or presenting in front of some audience. These opportunities might feel intimidating, but they're where growth happens. The second is to pursue education. Education doesn't stop when you leave whatever schooling you've had. Whether it's enrolling in a course, earning a certification, or simply diving into a new book, continuous learning is one of the best ways to unleash your potential. If you've always wanted to learn a skill, like coding, public speaking, or even playing an instrument, start now. Every bit of knowledge you gain expands your capacity for growth. The third is to set personal challenges. Growth isn't just professional, it's personal too. Setting challenges like training for a marathon, completing a fitness goal, or mastering a new hobby pushes your boundaries and builds resilience. These aren't just about the end goal, they're about the process of showing up, putting in the work, and proving to yourself that you can do hard things. Now let's talk about mindset, because none of this works without the right perspective. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities can be developed through effort, learning, and perseverance. It's understanding that failure isn't a dead end, it's a stepping stone. Carol Dweck, the psychologist who popularized this concept, explains that a growth mindset isn't about ignoring challenges, it's about leaning into them. It's about saying, I may not be able to do this yet, but with effort, I can improve. Here's why this matters. If you believe your abilities are fixed, you'll avoid challenges for fear of failure. But if you believe you can grow, you'll embrace opportunities to learn, even if they come with risks. And those opportunities are where real progress happens. Think about your current situation. What's one area in your life where you've been holding back? Maybe it's a project at work you've avoided, a skill you've hesitated to learn, or a physical or mental challenge you've been putting off. Now ask yourself, what's stopping me? What opportunities for growth am I ignoring because of fear, doubt, or complacency? How can I create a plan to take that first step? Write it down and be specific. Maybe it's signing up for that class, asking for more responsibility at work, or committing to a fitness goal. Whatever it is, start today. As you step into the next phase of unleashing your potential, remember, growth isn't linear and it's not always easy, but every effort you make is a step closer to becoming the man you're meant to be. Living out Rule 9 means constantly asking yourself tough questions, pushing your limits, and embracing the growth that comes from challenging yourself. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. Let's start with some reflection questions to help you evaluate where you stand. These have really helped me in my own journey. Take a moment to think about these. How much potential are you tapping into in your current life situation? That means, are you maximizing what's available to you, or are you holding back? Maybe it's at work, in your relationships, or with your personal goals. Be honest. Are you really giving it your all? Or is there some untapped potential waiting for you to demand more? Next is, can you demand more from yourself? Think about your daily routines, your habits, and your mindset. Are you coasting through life, doing just enough to get by? Or are you actively pushing yourself to be better, stronger, and more focused? Finally, what areas of your life would benefit from taking a more challenging road? Growth doesn't happen in comfort. What's one area where you could choose the harder but more rewarding path? Maybe it's your career, your health, or even your spiritual life. Now, let's turn those reflections into action with 3 practical steps. 1. Assess your resources and willingness to demand more. Start by taking an honest inventory of where you are right now. What resources, skills, time, connections do you have at your disposal? And more importantly, how willing are you to step outside of your comfort zone to demand more from yourself? Be realistic, but don't be afraid to stretch. The second is to identify 3 areas for growth and take the first step in each. Look at your life and just pick 3 areas where growth is possible. For each, write down the first tangible action you can take this week to create, demand, and unlock potential. Maybe it's scheduling a difficult conversation you've been avoiding, signing up for a challenging course, or committing to that fitness goal you've been thinking about all year. Take the first step and build momentum. The third is to seek out mentors for guidance. No one achieves their potential alone. Surround yourself with people who have been where you want to go. Seek out mentors who can guide you, challenge you, and help you navigate the obstacles along the way. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Mentorship is a powerful tool for growth. As you begin to live out Rule 9, remember this: progress, not perfection, is the goal. You're not going to unlock your full potential overnight, and that's okay. Growth is a process. It's about showing up every day, doing the hard work, and trusting that the effort will pay off. But there will be moments of discomfort, moments where you doubt yourself or question if it's worth it. But let me remind you, growth is on the other side of that discomfort. Every time you push through, every time you choose the harder path, you become a stronger, wiser, and more capable man. So here is my challenge to you. Take the time this week to reflect on those questions. Take the first step in 3 areas of growth and seek out someone who can help you along the way. Demand more from yourself. Embrace that discomfort and trust that the process will lead to progress. Potential is not just an abstract idea, but a powerful force that requires effort, grit, and intentional action to be realized. Learn to recognize your unique strengths, demand more from yourself, and unleash your full capacity by stepping out of your comfort zone. Potential doesn't just happen, it's activated by the choices we make, the challenges we embrace, and the discipline we commit to. So write down that one ambitious goal, something that excites you, stretches you, and pushes you closer to your potential. Once you've written it down, break it into smaller steps and commit to it by taking the first step this week. It doesn't have to be monumental, but it does have to be intentional. Whether it's a step in your career, your relationships, or any personal growth, take action. Remember, it's not about achieving it all at once. It's about starting the process and demanding more from yourself. As we close, I want to leave you with the verse that captures the spirit of today's episode. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters. Colossians 3:23. This is your reminder that the effort you put in, the challenges you embrace, and the growth you pursue all have a purpose. You're not just working towards your own goals, you're living out the potential God has placed in you. Thank you for tuning into Chasing Masculinity today. I'm grateful you're here, committed to growing, learning, and becoming the best man you're meant to be. Let's keep this conversation going. Share your ambitious goal for the week with me on social media at Mr. Wutzke, and let's encourage one another to step into our potential. Until next time, keep reflecting, keep striving, and keep chasing masculinity.